Business Morning on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. We have here in the studio Henry Boyo, is an economist, talking to us about the suspension of the planned introduction of the 5,000 naira notes. Good morning.
Hello, Bolaji.
Thank you for joining us on the program.
It's my pleasure.
We've seen the drama that followed the pronouncement that the central bank said that it would go ahead to print 5,000 naira, that it actually wants to do that. Did you think at any point in time that it will be suspended?
Well, I was very surprised that the president stepped back and decided to come on the side of the people by advising that the 5,000 naira note issue and indeed the actual total restructuring be suspended for now. The advertorial that the CBN published indicated that it was being stopped until the president thought it otherwise, whether or not to produce it again. But surprisingly, the comments that came from the media advisor to the government was like it was suspended so that more consultation and sensitization should be carried out. So these are two divergent positions. But I must commend the president for standing on the side of the people on this issue, because it was quite clear the way the CBN and its supporters were carrying on. It was clear that they were really serious about pushing it through, whether we liked it or not.
When you say the president was on the side of the people, what were those things that he would have considered to make him to be on the side, or what were the people asking for, really?
Well, don't forget, we are in a democratic environment or culture, and the president should listen to the people, because after all, it is the votes of the people that got him there. Maybe when the presentation was initially made to the president by the central bank and his team, it is possible that they did not paint a totally sincere or true picture. As it turned out, I don't think the country has been more unanimous in condemning this kind of introduction as in any other. We saw the fuel strike, yes, but this is certainly second to the fuel strike. Everybody, especially the masses, felt that this was an affront on their welfare, because they suspected that it was an omen that did not bode very well for them.
Now, we've seen various utterances from the National Assembly. Now, one would wonder, is it that they may not be looking at things from the point of view of the central bank? The National Assembly, we saw what happened in terms of the autonomy of the Apex Bank just a few months ago, and now this issue of currency restructuring was not well received by members of the House. What do you think was missing?
It wasn't only the members of the House that did not receive the issue of the 5,000 naira note very well. The masses did not. Indeed, I'd suggested in an article that if there was a plebiscite on this issue, probably central bank and a few other people will be on one line, and the whole of the country, 99.9% of the country, will be on the other queue. I don't think that the issue of autonomy is as how would I say, volatile as people make out, because at the end of the day, what are we really talking about? You have administrative autonomy, you have fiscal autonomy, but one area that I suspect that the lawmakers have not, or maybe are shying from, because they probably think they are inadequate in that respect, is the area of monetary policy. I agree certainly that they should not interfere with the monetary policy management of the country by the central bank. But at the end of the day, the prime mandate of the central bank is price stability. Indeed, if you look at the issues of administrative independence or administrative autonomy, I think the word autonomy itself is probably causing a lot of confusion.
Maybe we can help spell all of these out, because I know there was an act that's guided the operation of the central bank itself. Now, the question now is it independent of the 1999 Constitution, of our Constitution. How do you create the balance, having to look at how we run our business at the central bank and what the country expects from us? How do you think the central bank can help, or everyone in the economy can create the balance, both at the National Assembly level and even the central bank itself?
The central bank's autonomy, as I said, the word autonomy itself is a misnomer, because what we are talking about is an oversight arrangement. What you want is
for the central bank?
Oversight and arrangement on the activities of the central bank. And this oversight could be in the area of administrative or monetary policy policy operations, or indeed it could be on the area of budget. The House of Reps or the National Assembly at the moment are more focused on the executive board, composition of the executive board of the central bank, and they're also focused on the issue of the central bank's budget. To me, I don't see that these are they are intrusions in a way. I don't think they are intrusions in any way, because at the end of the day, so long as the objective is that of transparency and accountability, the central bank should even welcome with open hands any arrangement to ensure that he's doing his job very well. It shouldn't be, nobody must look at what I'm doing, nobody has the right. Look, if Mr. President himself wants to spend 1 kobo, it has to ask the National Assembly for permission to do so. But in a situation where you have an agency of government that arrogates to itself the powers to not only spend money without any oversight or transparent publication of its activities, but to spend money in a manner that some people have even said fall outside the ambit of what the central bank itself should be doing.
I wouldn't want us to veer off from the issue of this macroeconomic, I think macroeconomic issue, because it has to do with monetary policy. I wouldn't want us to go into budget of the central bank, because I've been at an event before where some officials of the central bank have said that they cannot say how much they will spend in a whole year. Like when Nigeria will say we're going to spend 4.9 trillion naira, for instance, the central bank do not have a specific amount that it will spend for that year, and so cannot say, National Assembly, this is how much we were looking forward to spending. We are going to defend our naira, the foreign exchange. We have to buy more, sell more bonds, and all that, treasury bills and all of that. It cannot really say. It can only arrive at that figure based on what the official said, when events unfold. But let's get back to the issue of this 5,000 naira note. You were talking about consultation. You said something about consultation before now, that the issue is still going to be subject to consultation. But one would wonder that the central bank would have actually done this before it went ahead to make some pronouncement. Did you think it did that thoroughly?
I think I should first of all make reference to what you said earlier. Any organization that does not have a budget or a plan cannot be expected to be held to any accountable performance standard. So it is not appropriate. The actual budget that the CBN is talking about should be the budget of running the bank. Okay, the budget of running the bank, not the budget in terms of monetary policy, because at the end of the day, if we look at what is happening now, the expectations of Nigeria with regards to the performance of the central bank. If you look at what is happening, the core mandate of the central bank, it dovetails into what you're saying about 5,000 naira note. But the core mandate of the central bank is that of monetary policy. Price stability. Price stability means having inflation at 1, 2, 3, maximum maybe 4%. It means having cost of borrowing, particularly to the real sector, at maybe 4, 5, 6%. These are the things that are required to be able to move the economy forward. These are the indices that you require to drive the economy. So if the central bank is saying, look, we have an expert knowledge of monetary policy, maybe or monetary policy management, maybe they do. But if the results of their performance do not justify that us giving them the credit that they do know what they're doing, then of course there must be a body that says, come here, what is going on? You cannot seem to manage your interest rate to 4, 5, 6% for the real sector to grow. You cannot seem to bring inflation to 2, 3%, as happens in economies that you use as reference points.